We got a question from Robert, who is currently running a niche business, helping financial advisors. The tool's out there, people are using it, and he's noticed, and this is common, lots of products get this, he's noticed that they have a few happy customers from outside of their expected customer segment. A lawyer, a contractor, etc., a solar installer, whoever. And so the question is, okay, well, what do we do about this from a cust dev and a product perspective? Do we expand into those niches? If we do, how do we approach it? So I have a couple thoughts on this. Expanding into other niches is always more work than you think, but that doesn't mean it's a bad idea, especially for a small bootstrapped indie business, because it's very possible to fill out your niche, or at least the customers you can easily reach, and then you can expand by adding extra niches. However, the reason I say it's harder than people think it is because a lot of subtle stuff changes. In some cases, the language used to describe the value proposition is a little bit different. As a experience from my past on the feature side of things, when I was building animation technology that was used by kids to make cartoons and brands to make user-generated campaigns, it was the same core tech, but the brands were paranoid that someone would use the product and their brand images and say something filthy or use a ton of curse words. And so we had to build a whole lot of text filtering and auto moderation and human moderation and community flagging and things that just weren't necessary when we were focused on the kids. And we got some work out of it. We managed to get some sales for 20 grand to big brands. And at the time, that was very exciting, but it stopped us from fully building the product and exploiting the direct-to-consumer opportunity. So Robert asked if, should I set up a separate website? Should it be a separate domain? Should it be et cetera, et cetera? The more you're doing that, the more difficult you're making things for yourself, because you're just adding this maintenance tax, especially if you're a small team, and can't just scale up a support team or a bug fixing team or whatever else. And they're going to drift. My preferred approach would be to start with dedicated landing pages, but identical products. Possibly unless the product actually had the niche name in the product name, like toolforlawyers.com might be difficult for contractors to get behind. But separate landing pages are great. Like, definitely run your content marketing through to lead people to the appropriate landing page for them based on the type of content. Do the same with ads if you're using them. Separate landing pages can give you a lot of the benefit of separate brands with a tiny fraction of the work. So I'd like that, and I would prioritize the ones that you think you can get through your existing channels and who are going to need essentially zero product customization. Otherwise, I feel like if you're really branching out into another, full on going for the other niche, separate brand, all of that, you're essentially saying, okay, we're just redoing everything. We're putting our first product on kind of autopilot maintenance mode, and we're building a new product for a new market. Now, you're doing that with a huge advantage. You've got a ton of insight. You've got a ton of tech work already done, but it's definitely not a freebie. You're going to have a lot of wood to put behind that arrow. So go into the choice willingly, or intentionally, I should say. And then also a mistake I've seen some people make in this, both the international expansion and the expanding out their niches, is if they're going to be customizing their product or their marketing language or something, they carry over the confidence and the validation that they've already got with their core audience. But oftentimes that's wrong, and it can lead you to overcommit on product decisions or marketing spend or that sort of stuff. So what I'd love to see is for a team to go back, okay, it's a brand new niche. We know a lot, we're informed, but let's talk to a few of them again. Let's do some discovery. Let's do some validation. Let's be really high touch with our early sales so that we can learn what they're excited about and what they're not. It's usually much faster for each additional niche because you're starting from a much higher level of understanding. But I still think it's a mistake to not do any of that. So I'd encourage you, if you do want to niche out, to at least spend a week or two and have a few of those conversations. And potentially that helps you figure out actually they can't use exactly the same thing. That's just a one weird customer. And sometimes that's true. So hold on to the skepticism that's already brought you this far. But it sounds great. And something else, I guess the final comment, an argument against niching out, is something Amy Hoy said that I always remember, where someone was asking why it's so rare for a indie business or a bootstrap business to end up with a portfolio of products. where this product is doing 1,000 per month and this one's doing 1,500 per month, and why people don't just build this. And her response, which is so true, is that it is easier to bring a business from $1,000 in revenue to 20 grand in revenue than it is to bring a new product from $0 to $1,000. And so if you've already got something that's doing, say, $1,000, I'm just making up revenue numbers here. I don't know what yours are. But often you can take it a lot further, and it's much easier to double or triple or 10x that one than it is to start something fresh and bring it up to the same level. Individual situations vary, but something to bear in mind. Anyway, sounds like an exciting product, and you're doing great, and I hope it continues to be well. Thank you for the question, Robert, and if anyone else has one, just hit me up, robert@robfitz.com.